"Creativity is just connecting things," Steve Jobs once said. This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the essence of innovation. It's not about inventing something entirely new out of thin air, but rather about seeing the connections between existing ideas and concepts. Jobs had a unique ability to see these connections, and it was this ability that set him apart as a visionary. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it, they just saw something. This feeling of guilt stems from the realization that their breakthrough wasn't a solitary act of genius, but rather the result of a series of observations and connections that anyone could have made. It's a humbling acknowledgement that creativity is more about perception than invention. Jobs understood that unlocking creativity wasn't about magic, but about creating the right conditions for those aha moments to strike. He knew that inspiration could be cultivated through a combination of discipline, environment, and routine. By structuring his day in a way that maximized his mental clarity and focus, he was able to consistently tap into his creative potential. And for him, a crucial part of that equation was a meticulously crafted daily routine. This routine wasn't just about productivity, it was about creating a rhythm that allowed his mind to wander and explore new ideas. From his morning rituals to his work habits, every aspect of his day was designed to support his creative process. While the rest of the world saw a tech visionary who seemingly pulled groundbreaking innovations out of thin air, Jobs himself knew the truth. He understood that his success was the result of a deliberate and consistent effort to nurture his creativity. His public persona was that of a genius, but behind the scenes he was a master of routine. Behind the curtain of Apple's success was a man who'd honed his days into a system designed to fuel his creativity, focus his energy, and ultimately, change the world. This system was not rigid or inflexible. It was a dynamic framework that allowed for both structure and spontaneity. By balancing these elements, Jobs was able to maintain a high level of productivity without stifling his creative instincts. It wasn't random, it was routine. This routine was the foundation upon which he built his empire. It provided him with the stability and consistency needed to tackle complex problems and develop innovative solutions. By adhering to a daily schedule, he was able to manage his time effectively and ensure that he was always working towards his goals. Think about it. If a guy who could build the future needed a routine, maybe we all do. A well-structured routine can help us achieve our own version of success, whatever that may be. It can provide us with the discipline and focus needed to pursue our passions and turn our dreams into reality. By following a routine, we can create the conditions necessary for our own aha moments. Let's dive into the day-to-day of a guy who turned ones and zeros into the soundtrack of our lives. By examining his habits and routines, we can gain valuable insights into how we can structure our own lives to maximize our creative potential. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or simply someone looking to improve your daily life, there's something to be learned from the way Steve Jobs approached his day. So let's take a closer look at the power of routine and how it can help us unlock our own creativity. The alarm clock goes off. It's 6 a.m., the start of another day, in the life of Steve Jobs, a man whose name is synonymous with innovation and creativity. As the world outside remains cloaked in the quiet of early morning, Steve's day begins with the sound of the alarm, a signal that it's time to rise and shine. While most of the world is still hitting the snooze button, Steve Jobs is already up and out of bed. His mornings are not about lounging or taking it slow. They are about seizing the day, making the most of every precious second. The early morning light filters through the window, casting a soft glow that heralds the beginning of a new day filled with endless possibilities. He heads straight for the shower, the warm water washing away the sleep and preparing him for the day ahead. This isn't just a routine, it's a ritual that helps him transition from the world of dreams to the realm of reality. The shower is a place where ideas start to flow, where the mind begins to clear, and where the day's agenda starts to take shape. This isn't just any morning routine, it's about resetting, about clearing the mental cache for the torrent of ideas to come. The steam rises, enveloping him in a cocoon of warmth, a brief moment of solitude before the demands of the day take over. It's a time to reflect, to plan, and to prepare for the challenges ahead. But don't picture some elaborate ritual with essential oils and whale songs. Steve's approach is far more grounded, far more practical. His bathroom is a testament to his minimalist philosophy, clean, simple, and devoid of unnecessary luxuries. It's a space designed for function, not for indulgence. Jobs wasn't about that life. He believed in efficiency, in stripping away the superfluous to focus on what truly mattered. His mornings were a reflection of this belief, a time to get ready quickly and move on to the more important tasks of the day. He was efficient, almost Spartan in his approach to mornings. Every action was deliberate, every minute accounted for. There was no room for dawdling or distractions. It was all about getting ready with purpose and precision. The shower was quick, functional, a necessary step in the program of a man who treated time like the most precious currency. For Steve, every second counted, and he wasn't about to waste any of it. The clock was always ticking, and he was always aware of it. After all, he had an empire to build. His attire was simple, yet iconic, a black turtleneck, jeans, and sneakers. It was a uniform that freed him from the trivial decisions of what to wear, allowing him to focus on the bigger picture. It was a reflection of his belief in simplicity and functionality, and a world to change. With his mind clear and his body ready, Steve Jobs was prepared to take on the day. Each morning was a new opportunity to innovate, to create, and to push the boundaries of what was possible. It was a day in Steve's shoes, a day that held the promise of greatness. Out of the shower, and it's decision time. But, not really. For most of us, the morning routine involves a series of choices that can be surprisingly taxing. What to wear is often one of the first decisions we make, and it can set the tone for the rest of the day. But for Steve Jobs, this decision was already made. Every single day, he wore the same outfit. It wasn't just a habit, it was a deliberate choice. A choice that simplified his life and allowed him to focus on what truly mattered. His uniform consisted of a black turtleneck, Levi's 501 jeans, and New Balance sneakers. This combination became as iconic as the man himself. It was simple, functional, and instantly recognizable. Boom. Done. No fuss, no muss. This wasn't about fashion, it was about function. It was about eliminating the unnecessary to make room for the essential. Jobs famously hated wasting mental energy on trivial decisions. He believed that by reducing the number of choices he had to make, he could conserve his cognitive resources for more important tasks. This approach extended beyond his wardrobe. Jobs applied the same principle to his work, his diet, and even his daily routines. By minimizing the mundane, he maximized his potential for innovation. His minimalist uniform freed up his mind to focus on what truly mattered, designing the future. It was a subtle yet powerful way of hacking the system, a rebellion against the trivialities that consume so much of our time and energy. Think about it. How much time do you waste picking out your outfit every morning? How much mental energy do you expend on decisions that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things? Imagine if you could reclaim that time and energy. What could you achieve? What could you create? Jobs' approach was a subtle rebellion against the mundane, a way of hacking the system to prioritize what mattered. By adopting a uniform, Jobs eliminated one more decision from his day. It was one less thing to think about, one less distraction. And in doing so, he was able to channel his focus and creativity into his work. And let's be honest, the man made a black turtleneck look iconic. It became a symbol of his unique approach to life and work, a testament to the power of simplicity and focus. So next time you're standing in front of your closet wondering what to wear, think of Steve Jobs and his iconic uniform. Maybe, just maybe, there's something to be said for simplicity. By 7 a.m., Jobs is usually settled in, not at some Silicon Valley office but often at his home office, or as he liked to call it, his thinking space. This wasn't about luxury, it was about intention. He believed in starting his day by tackling the most challenging tasks, the ones that required his full creative energy. This wasn't just about willpower, it was about understanding his own rhythms. Jobs knew that his focus and clarity were sharpest in the morning. So he prioritized the big picture stuff, setting goals, mapping out strategies, brainstorming new ideas. This wasn't your average to-do list. This was about shaping the future, one carefully considered task at a time. By mid-morning, Jobs often steps away from the desk for a different kind of fuel, a light breakfast and a walk. But this wasn't just about stretching his legs or grabbing a bite. Jobs famously conducted walking meetings, believing that movement sparked creativity. Imagine strolling through the leafy streets of Palo Alto, sunlight dappling through the trees as Steve Jobs bounces ideas off you. Pressure, maybe. Productive, absolutely. Jobs understood that innovation rarely strikes in a stuffy conference room. It happens when the mind is free to wander, to make unexpected connections, to stumble upon those aha moments that change everything.